I want to be the very best.
It doesn't get better than that. Hump. You okay, Steve? You have full signal over there?
Okay, sorry. I was holding that note like super long, but it was a very high frequency,
yes.
so you couldn't hear it.
Yeah, all the coyotes in the canyon could hear it.
Yeah,
They appreciate it.
Yeah.
You can hear everything in both sides?
Yeah,
You're
I wasn't
all set?
plugged in all the way.
Oh, okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Ryan.
And I'm Steven. This is 60 Cycle Hum, the guitar buying, selling, trading, modding, fixing, breaking, playing, reviewing. I got it out of order. It's fine.
Close
I
enough.
hit them all. Podcast.
It's a podcast. Right? What can we tell you? We're doing a podcast here. It's also on YouTube. You know that. You're watching it right now.
I am a stickler for, if you do not have an RSS distributed form of your program, you don't have a podcast. You have a video, whatever. That's
right.
fine. And there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're not distributing via RSS, it's not a podcast. We are distributing this over the internet waves with an RSS feed.
There's no reason to gatekeep podcasts. It's the lowest form of media.
There is a reason to gatekeep it. And I just want to, protect folks like Joe Rogan and Conan O'Brien, guys who really need it. To
maintain the integrity of the format.
Yeah,
absolutely. Tell us about the first ad, Steve.
This first ad was sent by Nick Carter. He's a newer mainstay contributor. If you want to, before we get into
a bunch of Nick Carter ads.
If you want to submit an ad, you find your ad, you say, hey, this could be a good one for the show. Maybe you grab some screenshots. Maybe you just send the link over to 60cyclehumcast@gmail.com like Nick did with this one of two Fenders custom by Backstage Guitars. This guitar was made by Backstage Guitars Mike in Mount Vernon, one of the best luthiers in the country. There are only 2 of these in the U.S. The others, I think, are in Europe. This plays and sounds fantastic. Even has an onboard light. Featured on a TV program like Antique Roadshow, but in Indianapolis. This started as a Fender Strat. The price is firm at $2,500. Might take a trade.
So I've been seeing photos of this concept around on the internet for like a while now, and I haven't ever stopped to look at who the builder is. So I don't know if this is the only builder doing it, or if it's like a theme that people are doing. The way that you see like dozens of backwards strats, like that's become like a pet project that a lot of people like to do, is to make the backwards strats. So I don't know if this is one guy doing all of these, or if this is a theme that a lot of people are going with right now. Every time I see it, I'm like, yeah, that's fun. I think it's really fun. Like, it's completely nonsensical, completely whimsical. Like taking the neck of a Strat and just tilting it. What is that? It looks like 8 degrees, maybe 10 degrees from where it would normally be.
I'm going to give that at least 10 degrees, maybe 15.
You think a 15? I don't think it's a 15. I think it's in between 10 and 15, maybe 11 or 12.
Maybe 12 and a half.
Bust out the protractor. And then shifting all the functional bits around, segmenting the pick guard to make it look like it blew apart. Like, it's fun. It's goofy. It's like, let's not take this guitar too seriously, right, guys? But then also, this is what, $2,400 or something?
Yeah. Don't take it too seriously, but also you are going to have to get real serious with your bank account.
$2,500. I was $100 off.
This is a Fender Stratocaster. Call it a Stratocaster. It's appropriately named.
Like, this is the sort of thing that you could see one of the guitarists in Devo playing.
Yeah, this thing exploded so big that the pickup or the output jack plug. Is this the plug side?
Yeah, the jack plate.
Emily posted a thing the other day that instead of calling it male and female, jack plate is correct, that you should call it plug and jack, or no, jack and socket.
Jack and socket.
So this would be the socket side.
Jack and socket is probably my least favorite Blink-182 album.
take off your jack and socket.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or jack and socket works well too.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, there's plenty of euphemism to play within that space.
So yeah, it's been reversed.
No, what happened is
Devo. Okay, so
no. Here's what happened. Hold on. Okay. It exploded so bad that the jack it got pushed out. It just went boop.
Yeah,
because the pressure inside just pushed it out.
Oh yeah.
That's what happened. That's okay. Say the thing you were gonna say about Devo.
You posted a thing about never going to see bands and paying more than like $38 for a ticket.
Mm-hmm.
And Devo was actually the first band that came to mind that I thought like if they came to San Diego, you'd probably that could be like
they've come to San Diego a bunch of times,
and you just pass like $100 too much.
I just don't spend that much on shows. I had a Threads conversation with someone. It was like this big other side thing that doesn't even don't even need to get into. But it was like, oh, people are paying $300 for shows and up now. I mean, people are paying thousands of dollars for shows now, which is insane. But I was like, I've never paid more than $35 for a show. And then they were coming back with all this stuff, and I'm just sitting there like, they don't know the venues I'm going to, so they're not really going to get it. Like,
with the venues you go to, $35 seems really high. Yeah. I did look this up. So this is a total aside, and we'll get back to this guitar, but I did look up because I wanted to know how much a $10 show in like 2006 would translate to now with like inflation and everything. And $10, like if you paid $10 to see, 3 bands at your local bar or whatever in 2006, I think it's 2006, it'd be like an $18 show now.
Right.
So the fact that
it's catching up.
The fact that you can still go to $10 shows and like $12 shows is actually like pretty wild.
Yeah, you just have to go to local dive bar shows, which is what I like to do.
That are going to sound bad, not because the bands are bad, but because the sound man is non-existent. Or it might just sound bad because the sound system is non-existent. Or it might sound bad because the band is actually bad.
You're describing my ideal situation. Yes. Those are the things I like. I like to go see shitty bands at shitty venues with no PA to speak of. Like, that's what I like, that vibe. That's what I like to go to.
Where they had to put concrete blocks outside of the venue because somebody crashed a car into it.
I'm like go to a lot of surf shows and a lot of like kind of proto-punky psychedelic shows and stuff like that. And that's where they have them. They don't have them at the big clubs that charge $100. You like and the last couple times I've gone to like big shows at like Belly Up or whatever, it's because someone else got me in. Or
well, so that's the other part of it is like,
right. I go to shows that cost more. I just usually have a connection.
I tagged Copeland and Brian's Quiet Theory on after I went to the Copeland show, and he messaged and was like, dude, you should have just reached out. I was like, oh, well, next time you come to Southern California, that's what I'll do, man.
Yeah.
Going back to this guitar,
to the guitar.
I really like the relic job on this. I think it's actually
fun.
Pretty good, well done. I think this color blue over Sunburst is just a lot of fun. Did you see, speaking of Sunburst, well, I'm just all over right now. Did you see Tom Cram from DoD Digitech and Spiral Effects, his take on Sunburst?
What's his hot take? What's Tom's hot take?
Tom's hot take on Sunburst is a relic finish.
Go on.
Because the Sunburst finish is designed, according to Tom, I have not looked this up, but Tom is a very smart man, so I trust him.
Is it designed to hide imperfections on the edges?
No, sunbursts are designed to emulate the way like a varnish finish on a violin wears over time. And like ages to like be more yellow in the center and stay darker on the edges.
So it starts out as a simulation of an aged finish.
Yeah.
That is a hot take. Yeah. I see where he's coming from.
So sunbursts are already like relic instruments because it's doing a relic finish. It's just not like beat up in the same way. Anyway, I love this blue over sunburst. There are some colors I've seen over sunburst where I'm like, well, that's dumb. I feel like I see white over sunburst and red over sunburst the most. And those are ones where I'm just kind of like,
what's your favorite?
yeah, whatever. But I really like this blue over sunburst.
I like a sea foam over sunburst. I like a coral pink over sunburst.
I don't know if I've seen seafoam over sunburst. This is close to that. This is like a sonic blue.
Yeah. It's in that neighborhood. We use this exact same color on stuff in the backyard.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'll put up a picture of something in my backyard that Lauren and I have spray painted this exact blue.
I wish they would have done so that, they blew up all the plastics on the front. They had to realign things on the back. It's too bad that they couldn't keep the
wiggle stick
functional.
Yeah.
Like that's a bummer. Also, I wish they would have like aged the plastic, like done something with the
the
back
center
plate.
the back plate.
Yeah.
Maybe it should just be gone. It should just be blown off.
Something like that. Or
it should be gone, but there's like 2 corners left.
Exactly. And then I guess I kind of have the same complaint with the headstock. Like the tuners are obviously in very good shape.
Sure.
But overall,
well, what happened, Steve, is that the center of this guitar blew up, and then they put it back together, so that the headstock wasn't affected in that horrendous accident.
Right. So overall, execution, everything else, 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10, somewhere in that range. But man, $2,500 is rough.
This is inspiration bait. This is like, go do this yourself, because you totally can. Like, if you got all right woodworking skills, you can pull this off.
Yeah, this is a very high quality. Never mind.
It better be.
I was gonna make a joke that's not worth making.
Imagine buying this and it sucks. I'm not talking about like the concept of it sucks. I'm talking like, the neck, like the frets are all sharp and the pickups all squeal bad.
Right. I mean, the pickups don't look of any sort of quality.
Also, this thing is the headstock is stamped used. What happened here? This guy didn't build this neck, huh? This is all parts.
This is probably like a real Squire neck that's been like rebadged.
I'm starting to question the price on this.
I mean, it's got a Squire neck plate on it. This might be a Squire that's been blown up.
Yeah, I'm saying no on the price.
Yeah.
At first I thought...
I mean, it says it started as a Fender Strat, but there's way too many...
Squire parts.
Those pickups look like Squire pickups.
Well, the bridge,
they look like...
The bridge doesn't look...
That's a Squire bridge, dude.
Yeah. A single ply pick guard. This is all Squire stuff. I thought the way the ad was written, I was like, oh, this guy built this. No.
This guy mangled a $200 guitar.
Okay, now we need to figure out the actual price.
And it's used, so he probably bought it. He actually probably bought this through the Refurb/Fender collaboration.
There was a time when we found out what that used stamp was all about. We did an ad that explained that. It was years and years. I forget the actual specifics of what that's for. It's for like B-stock or something like that, or a return. I don't know.
Right, just like the Fender Reverb collaboration.
Work went into this to make this happen this way. Work went into this. It looks like it was done well. Like the bridge, it looks properly lined up with the neck.
Right.
All the pickups are properly lined up. There was theming work and refinishing work done and stuff like that. I am having a hard time thinking about this. If you love this theme, you really want this theme for your band, because you're like, that's it. That is the conversation piece. That's the thing that's going to get people looking at the stage when we get on at the local dive bar. I'm having trouble thinking about this guitar being something over $800.
Ryan, would you drink Three Stooges beer?
Yeah, I'd give it a shot.
If you have one too many, it's gonna turn you into a knucklehead.
Oh, okay.
That's it. Well, I just saw it's in the background.
Oh, it's in the background. All right. Okay.
You're like, why is he talking about beer?
Yeah. Or the Three Stooges. I was trying to look for any connection.
I only drink beer in appropriate times.
I mean, that's loaded, because any time's kind of appropriate for beer.
I wasn't trying to pick on you.
I know. Now you have me missing beer. Thanks a lot, Steve.
I've been drinking that every once in a while I've been drinking that what's that stuff that Jason Welch sent us?
Oh,
It means wormwood in Swedish.
shoot, I can't remember.
It's the official alcoholic beverage of Chicago or something.
Oh, Malort.
Malort.
You were talking about beer and then you switched to Malort.
Yeah.
Okay, no wonder I was confused. Like, what is he talking about?
Malort.
What beer is Steve trying to think
No.
of? Yeah, I tried to take a sip of Malort a while back, and it's like, I'm going to end up having this bottle forever.
I feel like it aged well. I feel like it's more palatable now. I don't know.
In the little bottle that I gave you?
$2,500.
Yeah.
That's a no.
Hard no. Like I said, like
What's the price point for like 700?
I said 800 is like the max I can imagine.
Yeah.
That I could imagine.
750. We meet in the middle.
The middle? So
Because you said like 800 and I said 700.
so the 700 is someone else's bid?
No, my bid's 700. Your bid is 800.
Oh, so we're going to do seven.
I want to know because this says it was on a TV
75 or
program
whatever.
like Antiques Roadshow in Indianapolis. So did they say that this was worth $2,500?
There's no way.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's no way.
It's very strange. Very hard to
Well,
believe.
if we're completely misjudging this and we're complete assholes, I'm sorry.
Well, we're definitely complete assholes.
Well, yeah, that's a given. Tell us in the comment section. Tell us that we got this one wrong. Tell us that, no, this is actually worth more than $2,500. This is a steal. Because I haven't looked at this concept before. I've seen it before, but I haven't looked into who's making them or what the normal prices are and things like that. I could be way off base here. But to me, it looks like a bunch of Squire parts. I mean, maybe it was a Fender neck, but they used the Squire body and Squire body parts.
I don't even think it's a Fender neck, dude. I think it's a Squire neck. It does have the black plastic truss rod, but I think some of the newer Chinese Fenders have that.
It could be classic
Or
vibe.
Chinese
I mean, look at that Affinity
Squires. Yeah, exactly.
That Affinity Jaguar that you guys can't see.
Affinity's got the big headstock though. This has the regular headstock.
But
So it could be classic vibe.
it
like
still
you said.
has the black plastic truss plug, you know.
Trying to see if you have any other ones.
The classic vibe is out in the kitchen, cooking,
Making me dinner.
it's making me dinner, like
dinner.
a good classic vibe. You know, you want a traditional guitar that's going to cook you dinner, then you got to get a classic
You
vibe.
gotta around here we call it the trad vibe.
Trad. Oh my gosh.
That puts a whole new spin on the Gibson Trad Pro.
Oh man, that's going to be Fender's new line. They're gonna skip over like the twos and the threes and stuff like that. They're like, oh, whole new line, Squire Trad vibe.
I feel like Gibson probably like it's too recent for someone else to do it. Anyway,
maybe.
Well, you know what? It's not too recent.
Squire will come out with the untraditional vibe.
It's not too recent. It's not too soon.
Do the transition, Steve.
To support this show. If you want to support the making of this program, you can head on over to patreon.com/60cyclehum. Just like these folks have.
We got new ones?
Tim Van Baining, I think is the
You
pronunciation.
called him Tim Van Boring?
It's Boening, so
right.
it's either Baining or Boning.
Well, that sounds
but
more exciting
I think
to me.
it's Baining.
All right.
Rupert Jock and Jason Hodges. So thanks, Tim, Rupert, and Jason for supporting the show.
That's $3 more a month, Steve.
Hey, every dollar counts,
Mm-hmm.
and at the $1 level, you get your name in the scroll at the end of every Patreon supported video, which every podcast is a Patreon supported video.
Mm-hmm.
So again, thanks to everyone at the $5 level. We send you some stickers and pics. $10 level, we get a little extra special, though. I think I'm running a little low on merch, so I should reach out to some people.
Reach out and touch somebody, Steve.
Reach out and touch face. Is that the line? Is that the lyric?
I
feel
think
like that's
so.
a lyric.
Reach out, touch face.
Is it touch base?
I think it's faith.
Touch faith. That makes a lot more sense in a song called Your Own Personal Jesus.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Reach out, touch face.
Yeah. And speaking of Your Personal Jesus, if you need a way to save your guitar playing, you need to head on over to TrueFire.
Yes.
Using the link below. TrueFire has all sorts of lessons. They can pull you out of that rut you are living in and save you from that terrible, terrible guitar playing.
I'm trying really hard
pestering your family with
to throw together some sort of holy trinity of practicing joke. Like you should have warned me that you were going to go this Jesus direction with TrueFire.
On purpose.
I know. Guys, help us figure out some religious puns for our TrueFire sponsorship.
If you want your guitar playing,
hey, if you want to play guitar better than me, all you need to do is probably sit through like a couple hours of lessons, and then you'll far surpass me.
If you want to play those burning hot licks, you need TrueFire in your life.
Licks so hot it burns. Get over there to TrueFire. Get your licks so burning hot that you're gonna have to go to the clinic.
The best deal they have is their year-round, like pay for a full year package. There's so much stuff on there. If you pay for a full year, you definitely will not regret it. But I'll say, like, you know what, like, that's a big commitment. So if you just want to test out for a month, like, pay for a month, try it out, and after a month, then make your. That's what I would do. That's what I would recommend. Try it out for a month. If you're feeling the vibe, then jump. It's like, you wade into the shallow end of the pool, and then you're like, this water's nice. So you get out of the pool and you go to the deep end and you go like
all the way,
your whole body into that water.
And then you're like, help, I can't swim. And the lifeguard's like, I'll save you. And that's one of the people over there at TrueFire. They'll come in with expert advice to help guide you.
What?
I don't think that's the service they provide. One day we're going to get this sponsorship right. But until then, just please click the links down below. Check out TrueFire.
Yeah, we're going to get it right.
Thousands of lessons. They've got just an incredible amount of knowledge over there that you want to soak into your brain. You want to soak it all up. And you let's face it, we can all be better at guitar.
Yep.
None of us could get worse, right? Or as bad as we'll ever be. So might as well get better.
This next ad was sent by Lucas Servi. It's called YamaHAHA.
Well, that's what I titled it. It has no, like, I just thought that would be funny to type. Steve's been like, oh, what does that mean? Does it mean blah, blah, blah? Is it going to make this joke? Can I make this pun? I'm like, no, Steve, it doesn't mean anything.
Bit of a weird one here. I'm not totally sure about that model number because there were a ton of SX models, but that's what the guy I bought it from said it was. Obviously, the finish of the body is a disaster. It's a disaster. The front looks like someone tried to strip the original finish without removing the hardware and then use some kind of white filler material in a couple places. Is that Bondo?
It might be.
The back of the body was refinished with a kind of metallic copper thing and a weird drawing. Your guess is as good as mine. Pickups are very vintage, weak, and microphonic.
Yeah.
Obviously, there are no knobs. The good. The neck is basically untouched and it is so comfortable and easy to play. The pickups won't be for everybody, but they do have that kind of lo-fi garagey thing going on and are super cool if you're into that. Despite the missing knobs, the pots all function and the electronics are good. TLDR, I wish that TLDR should have been at the beginning. This is a sweet playing vintage Yamaha, and hopefully the right person sees this listing because they're going to get a good deal on a cool guitar that they can restore or play as is for a trashy vintage vibe. 300 OBO.
I can't decide if I love this or not.
We're calling this a Yamaha SX80.
I looked it up and I think it's an SX60.
Is the SX80 like humbuckers or something?
I think so. The 60 had the single coils.
Is this the original shape of this guitar?
Yes.
Oh, that makes this a lot more interesting.
It does. And the headstock threw me off. It was like, what is this? No, they made these.
Is this
Yamaha made these?
Is this like 60s?
I think it's 70s.
This shape looks like, and that headstock looks like it predates. It either predates their like lawsuit era, or
what if this was post lawsuit and they just carved up a bunch of bodies?
It could be. So what I'm saying is the headstock shape is a little more extreme than what they had, and there. I don't think there was actually a lawsuit. There was just the threat of it.
Sure. I mean, there might have been a lawsuit. I don't know.
I think this would be pre, but you could be onto something.
I don't know. I don't know for sure. That the thing I'm concerned about is that I did look these up. It looks like in really decent condition, these go for 700, 800 sort of situation.
Oh, okay.
Here's my debate. Also, this thing isn't listed anymore. I tried to follow the link and it's gone. So,
Okay.
someone bought this thing. I'm assuming for $300. If I had the opportunity, and I really truly fell in love with this guitar, because I'm looking at it like, yeah, I dig this. If I needed like a set neck style but light bodied Les Paul with some real funky pickups, I would feel very tempted by this. I'm wondering, do I go for this wild relic for $300, or do I go for a nicer one for $700, $800 theoretically? I'm kind of like into this messed up one looking at it.
I only see 2 of these on Reverb right now. One is an SX125 listed 1973 as the date, and they are asking $1,200. The other one that's listed is asking $2,600.
I was seeing the SX60s on eBay.
Oh, okay.
When I was looking. So those look like they're a different, more a specific model that maybe has some sort of following. I don't know. I just think it's cool.
Now that I know that this shape is original, because I glanced at this earlier and I didn't really like take it.
No,
in.
it looks like someone massacred a Les Paul.
This feels like more fun for I feel like this would be a fun project at $300.
Yeah,
because it's not actually massacred. If it was massacred down to this shape, I'd be kind of bummed. What is this? This sticker looks like I should know what this is.
I do feel like it's familiar,
and I'm really mad that I don't. I don't I recognize it, but I don't know why.
It's some sort of weird pig guy, and he might be talking to either. I don't know. I'm getting like a Johnny Cash vibe, but I know it's not Johnny Cash. Like, it's got this 60s psychedelic, but it also might be like a weird like Butthole Surfers album art.
That's kind of that's kind of what I was thinking.
Right.
And I'm trying to remember. I thought there was an app or something where you could like take a picture.
Well, you could do reverse image search on Google. Let's not waste time on this. You could figure it out some other time.
Oh, it's called Google Lens. That's
all right.
But I don't know if I have that.
Let's not waste time on it. You could tell me later when I'm editing.
No, because I'm going to forget.
All right. Do you promise?
Yes.
Okay.
Ryan.
Yes, Steve.
What's new, dude?
What's new? That's a good question. What is new? I think I finally decided that I am just going to let my beard grow.
Yeah,
through the holidays.
You're doing it right now.
I've been doing it, but I did take it back like 2 weeks ago. I just to clean it up because I was getting some weird swirls going on. It's like, I need to clean this up. So I did I have a buzzer attachment that's like that long.
Right.
And I put it on there. It's not really like the cutting part is like that, but the blades on it are stupid.
The longest attachment I have is like a 16 millimeter, and it's definitely not long enough.
You're right. No, I bought an extra long one years ago. Like it's crazy. But yeah, I took it all down to even it out, and now I'm starting to get like a bit of like a Yukon Cornelius mustache going on, and I don't know if I'm going to maintain that. I mean, it's fun the way it is, but I don't want to do the full. I'm not going to do it. Right. So I'll probably keep this trimmed up right about where it is.
Have you thought about shaving everything except the mustache?
Well,
have you ever been a mustache guy?
I've done a mustache with like a short beard, which is like fun. I don't think I'd ever do mustache with clean shaven. Like that's not me. Right. I'm not going to do that. I don't want to look like my dad that much. But yeah, it's been 3 years since I had the great big beard. We'll see how long I get. I think I'm just going to not trim it except for like cleaning up some weird little things or whatever here and there. I'm going to try to get through Christmas and then we'll see where we're at.
When you said great big beard, I always think of the bird beard.
Yeah.
How long ago was that?
That was when Lauren and I first started dating. I had a beard down to here, and I went over to my ex-girlfriend's house. She was having a party. Ex-girlfriend, current wife, and her family had these birds, and we were letting the birds crawl around in my beard. So that's what Steve was referencing. And then like 3 years ago, I grew it out real long again. It's something I do like every 3 or 4 years or something like that. And then I'm like, that was fun. And then I cut it short again. Yeah, I can only hang with it for so long. So that's what's new for me. Do you have anything new?
I would just do you have a particular like style? I think I know what the answer is.
Okay.
Of effect that you feel like if you just want to, like, every time you play this style of effect, you feel like it's inspirational. Like, say, like, oh, a fuzz, or like a particular kind of fuzz, or like
that I could have just applied to the entire style, the entire genre.
Sure, like if you try out like a good,
I don't think so.
Particular, like,
I think examples within a genre can be inspiring, but I don't think an entire genre.
Well, I would say, like, on average, like the average pedal in this genre.
Okay. You're leading with this question. Just get where you're going with it.
So in the last episode, I got the
boost.
summer school extra credit boost, and I think this is really dumb.
Okay,
but I think good boost pedals is my answer to
That's your thing.
Like, I actually find that, like, I don't like pedals.
You were the first person I ever like ran across that was like part of the linear power booster religion.
I had a linear power booster, but I also had a pedal that was basically like a ZVEX super hard-on style, and I've always liked a good boost with a brightness that basically would work as a presence knob at the beginning of my signal chain.
You know what? I do have that DoD
the BiFET preamp. Yeah,
that is a magic boost.
Yeah, and so there are certain and so those things, like the extra credit boost, the brightness, so there's a boost setting and a bright boost setting. And the bright boost setting, when you turn the brightness all the way up, it basically becomes like a light overdrive. And in principle, I don't like really low gain drives, because it's like, oh, I got a volume knob I got to figure out, and either a gain and a tone knob to figure out. But in this case, it's like, dude, I just turn the brightness all the way up and adjust volume to taste, and I'm good to go. And it just, I don't know, I just wanted to play it. I was like, this is cool. My wife took a video of it and said this is what working from home looks like. But I was like, I was just playing it, and I didn't want to stop playing it, and
it felt inspiring.
I feel like,
what amp were you running it into?
The Rev, the D20.
Ah, yeah. Were you pushing it with it? Pushing it into dirt?
I don't think so.
So you were just clean boosting.
Yeah, well,
and having a good old time.
But like that pedal, like with the brightness all the way up,
it gives you a little sizzle.
It gets a little sizzle.
All right.
So I might have been pushing that amp, because that amp does push on its own. Like when I use my Les Paul, but for this clean boost, I was using my Strat.
Okay, we get it. You have a Les Paul.
Yeah. I do have a Les Paul. It's true. But anyway, I just like, go if you don't own a clean boost, go buy
a boost.
Go buy the Summer School Electronics boost. That's all I'm saying. I was not paid.
All you should do is buy the Summer School Electronics boost.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
I'm going to put a link again, because I can.
I'll try to put up a picture of it again, so people know what the heck you're talking about.
I'm real out of breath. But this episode is brought to you all by Chase Bliss.
That's right, Steve.
Speaking of pedals that inspire you,
let's have the lowest energy sponsorship ever. Sorry, guys, we're about to talk about Chase Bliss.
If you just want to like chill out and have a good time.
No, let's talk about Chase Bliss. If you're looking for a pedal more creative than you are and better looking, then you gotta check out Chase Bliss pedals. They got pedals that you wouldn't even believe. I used a Chase Bliss pedal in my Keeley demo.
Was it the Dark World? No.
It was the Dark World. And there was a segment in the video where I was playing the heaviest, chuggiest, most dissonant sounding chord ever. And then I would just go, sugar. And then it would rest, and you would hear the Dark World in the background go, and it's this magic little reverb trail, because I love the Dark World, and I have it dialed in a very specific setting that I'll never abandon. Like, once I found my setting, I'm keeping it
Have
forever.
you just considered saving that to a preset?
I have saved it to a preset, but
Okay, good.
I've never changed it. I'm never going to.
Have you considered like getting a MIDI controller so you can like?
I could do all those things, Steve.
What if you got a MIDI controller and then you just banked it to like every preset on your MIDI controller is just the same.
The same thing, just to have redundancy in case one of them gets messed up. I'm like, oh, that one got messed up.
Exactly.
At least I have 98 backups.
Exactly.
You know? So check out Chase Bliss Audio. They're full of magic little moments like that you aren't expecting. There's billions of options per pedal with that switch bank thing on the back. Like they're ridiculous. You know you want one. You've been drooling over a Chase Bliss pedal for years and years and years, and then it got discontinued, and now you're drooling over a new one. And I'm just saying, get the one you're drooling over now before it gets discontinued, because it turns out that it's bad to eat in Europe. Thanks, Chase Bliss.
All right, Ryan, hit me with this week's topic.
Okay,
sir.
Oh, I should have figured out who was asking about it in the group. That's the part I should have screen grabbed.
Ryan.
Let me
You're ruining it for everybody.
Okay, I know where to find it.
Justin Jolkowski says, with two new signature guitars,
I was right there.
A new signature amp from Fender, a new third man reverb pedal, and his recent secret release album. Jack White is so hot right now. Is he the rock/blues idol we need to follow for the future of music?
So I've got the reverb because I did a demo of it. Why couldn't I have done a demo of the amp? Oh my gosh.
Because somebody else asked me that, actually, like whether or not Fender was going to send us one. And I was like, I'm pretty sure Fender got Jack to do the demo of that one, so they don't need us.
Yeah.
Jack probably did a demo.
The people who did, the YouTubers who did demos of it, is because they went to Sweetwater's Guitar Fest, and I was on vacation.
Yeah. Dude, there was the most unhinged video in response to one of the Sweetwater videos.
Okay.
Do we want to talk about that at all? Okay. Basically, someone is being a dick to Sweetwater and all the creators that went to Sweetwater. That's all. Don't find the video. It's dumb.
That sounds stupid. It sounds unreasonable. Yeah. And I'm definitely going to ask Steve about it later and go watch it just for
I
the
thought
kicks.
it got posted in one of our group chats. Anyway.
So let's talk about everything. Excuse me, I'm about to burp my burrito. Whoa. I felt that one coming.
You did it.
There were
your burrito.
4 things that came out all at once from Jack White, well, from Third Man Industries, and it's all like in support of his album, which I'm assuming means that all this gear gets featured on his album.
Probably.
Which is kind of wild. And it kind of like, is Jack White's new album like one of the most ambitious demo videos to ever be made? Like, is that what's going on? Is Jack going like, I don't know if we'll make the money back on the album, but I'll definitely make money selling this gear. Like, is that the grift? Like, I'm not saying grift is a bad thing. I'm like, Jack, is that what's going on? Huge respect if that's what's going on. You're doing it. I love it. Maybe that's the future of albums, is like you release a bunch of gear that goes along with it. Like,
this album,
I love it.
This album is called No Name. And it was originally released through Unmarked Vinyl Records, secretly included with purchases at Third Man Records in Detroit, London, and Nashville. So if you went to Third Man Records and you bought like a Third Man Records label, like Sleep,
sure,
you bought a Sleep album and you got a secret Jack White album alongside with it, I guess.
I should listen to this thing. I don't have a lot of time to listen to albums these days.
Well, it received acclaim from music critics, Ryan.
Well, that's good.
It debuted at number 130 on the Billboard 200 because
I don't even know what that means.
Because nobody knew it happened.
I don't track the Billboard stuff. I'm not Rick Beato over here. I don't care who's number 1 on Spotify.
So I haven't heard this one either. I didn't know. It was so secret. I didn't even know it happened. But I know like I think it's really fun to listen through like some of his other albums that have come out since the Third Man thing has been going on, and hearing effects and being like, oh, that's the triple graph.
Right.
Like that's a really fun little Easter egg I feel like for people in the know. And he's still like just an absolute like beast musician. His music's not for everybody, but I feel like in some ways it's almost like, this is going to sound weird.
Say it, Steve. I like weird.
I feel like Jack White's music is like inoffensive in a John Mayer sort of way that John Mayer's music is inoffensive, but it's also like still interesting in a way that personally I just don't find John Mayer's music to be particularly like mentally stimulating.
I hear what you're saying, but I also really love the chaotic element of Jack's playing.
Here, this is what I mean. I guess what I mean is like if John Mayer is like the pop rock version of like a virtuoso, Jack White is the punk rock version of a virtuoso.
Okay.
Like he's doing like this bluesy thing, but it's like a very like punk as hell version of blues.
All right.
Where it's like it's just going to be dirty as hell. It's going to be fuzzed to the nines.
Right.
And it's going to be unmistakably Jack White.
Right. Totally. So anyways, let's talk about the actual pieces of gear. We have the reverb here.
The LeGroat.
It's a really fun reverb. It's different. It's very different.
Is it Grote or Grotte?
I think a lot of people watched my demo hoping to find out that it's a drippy reverb. It's not.
Right.
It's not a drippy, surfy reverb. It's a gigantic, cavernous, like really fill out every corner of the space you're in sort of reverb.
I've never seen a spring
And
reverb with
super duper dirty too. Like it's also like a distortion pedal.
I've never seen a 3-spring reverb.
Yeah, there's 3 spring reverbs. I don't know what else to tell you. They do.
I'm
exist.
just saying I've never seen one.
Well,
I usually only see like 2-spring or 4-spring.
Well, typically in Fender style amps with the long springs, those are 2-spring. But when you get into shorter pans, it's not uncommon to find 3 springs. Yeah.
The more you know.
So then there's 2 guitars.
Yes.
There is the triple sonic Acoustasonic Telecaster. How many of those do you think they're going to sell? Like that seems like
all of them.
Oddly specific thing to Jack.
You don't think those are going to sell?
I don't know. Like it's still like wildly up for debate how many of the other Acoustasonics have sold. But I guess because here's what I want to know. Like we know that like boomer guitar, like tribute guitars sell, like, you know, like Slash guitars and Jimmy Page guitars, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You put Jimi Hendrix's name on something and it's going to sell. I want to know how well all this Jack White stuff sells, like the higher dollar value stuff. Cause we've got a $2,500 Acoustasonic here that is very specifically tailored to Jack White. The triple caster, like I could see a wider variety of people buying that.
Yeah.
Maybe just because I'm an electric guitarist, like acoustics are boring. I still have my Acoustasonic, by the way. It's behind that wall in a case. I'm just like holding on to it forever because I'm telling myself that someday I'll need it. You know? But I think that Telecaster is really fun.
A lot of people are balking at that $3,500 price.
Sure,
point.
of course.
I think it's going to sell. I think it's going to sell very well. I wouldn't be
it's ever going to be collectible. You ever think it's going to be worth more?
I think it's immediately collectible.
You think it's ever going to be like a $15,000 thing?
Well, I mean, eventually, like in 50 years, and everything will be worth that much.
Well, yeah, that's because minimum wage will be $600. Here's what I'm asking. I want a percentage split in between it being collectible. Let's say for 15 grand, like I said earlier. Will it be 80% because of Jack and 20% because it's just a limited edition Fender, or will that be reversed, where it's mostly because it's an oddball Fender and secondly because it's Jack? Like, what do you think? What do you think will win if it does have collector's value someday?
Man, I don't know. I think it's. I understand what you're saying. I think in the immediate, I think the limited edition nature of anything lends value to it, right? That's just the nature of where we are.
But it also has to be desirable.
We have this like goofy commodity market where things are desirable that don't make sense.
Of course.
Why is my Jag Sting worth $1,200?
Well, that's what they were worth new now.
I mean, I guess,
it's retained its value.
My parents paid $250 for it, and I told them that it was too much. I told them like you were wrong.
You were wrong about that, Steve. And you've been holding on to that guitar forever because you're hoping that it'll be worth big money someday.
I mean, but all of the Mexican Strats from that time are still only worth like what they were.
Sure.
You know,
Is retained value better than other Mexican Fenders of the era?
So I think the Jack White thing, one, because it's limited edition, it will gain value. Because it's Jack White, and so that makes it an oddball instrument, it's gonna like increase in value. And so like here's my example of something that probably won't because of the artist is Fender made the Adam Clayton bass. Adam Clayton being the bass player from U2. And I can't imagine those becoming collectible because
is there anything
an Adam Clayton
wild or crazy about it?
I don't think so.
Did you know that this has a hip shop detuner on?
No, I didn't. I didn't
it's
look
got
that
the little
closely at
flick thumb thing on the low E tuner, so you can. This thing's all tricked out.
So here's the thing I'm going to say about this. I don't know what features it shares with it, but I do regret this. One of my big things at with going to NAMM. NAMM is coming in like 3 months, 4 months. One of my big things with like NAMM is I'm like not good at like seeing something in a booth and checking it out. Sure. Because I'm just like,
you just see it and walk by. You don't pick it up.
I see it and I think like, oh wow, that's really cool. But like, I don't want to know. I don't necessarily plug in. I'm really like, I feel like a mediocre at best musician. So I just don't want to like,
you don't want to bother anyone.
I don't want to bother anybody.
Right.
Third Man had Jack White's, I'm pretty sure, actual triple caster at NAMM.
Right.
All like, and I was like, I walked by and I was like, that's freaking rad. I wonder if that's the real one. I'm pretty sure I heard it was the real one. And I should have played it.
Yeah.
Everybody, did you play it?
I might have picked it up for a moment. I don't remember if I played it or not, but I dedefinitely saw it.
So but it was the blue one. It's super cool.
Let's go through
not this black malarkey.
The features of this thing. This is one of the rare cases where I think a black guitar looks slick, and it's because of everything else going on. The amount of white hardware on here is amazing. The white Bigsby, the white control plate with the white knobs, white switch tips, white pickups. You got a white Filtertron, a white P90. You can find white P90s all the time, but a wide range, and the neck is nuts. The white armrest thing that would normally be chrome, like the whole thing's just tricked out and beautiful. It's got a kill switch on that lower horn there. It's got that detuner on the low E tuner. Like, it's just, I'm loving how wild Jack went with all these designs. And like I'd call it the cherry on the top, but really it's the whole freaking sundae, and everything else is the sprinkles. This amp, I have just been tickled pink thinking about this amp ever since it got announced. And I know this is all like old news. It's been out for 2 weeks as of publishing this episode, but the freaking amp, man, I know it's $3,000, but that's amazing. It's got a 15-inch speaker and a 10-inch speaker, and you can run it so that the reverb is only on one speaker if you want, and you can run it so that there is a stereo tremolo, a harmonic tremolo that pulses in between the two speakers. Can you imagine a 15-inch speaker and a 10-inch speaker with a harmonic trem pulsing them back and forth?
That's really
and like
cool.
the dance of frequencies and the physical presence that must have in the room when you're there with it. It's just got to be nuts to be in the room with that thing. I love how wild this concept is. And I'm seeing a lot of other people just in love with the concept of this amp. I hope this becomes kind of like a trailblazer for future amp design, where there's so many amp companies out there, boutique and just factory production and otherwise. Get wild. Do crazy stuff. Mix speakers. Have them pulse against each other. Do weird things with expanded reverb circuits. Like, this has a 4-knob reverb, mixed, dwell, treble, and bass. And you can, like, it's got a switch to split it from both speakers or one speaker, so you have a wet dry rig from one amp. Like,
yeah.
And also the fact that they simplified the traditional Fender amp layout. Like, this style of amp, this big box style Fender amp, you'd expect to see 2 channels on it, like a vibrato channel and then a main channel or a bright channel or so on and so on. They're just like, we don't need an extra channel. It's just one channel. And then it gives you 6 knobs for controlling the reverb and the tremolo. Like, this honestly feels like the future of tube amps to me. And I hope it becomes like a cornerstone of what we see going forward in tube amp design. Because tube amps are like, they're becoming more and more niche. They're becoming more and more of just,
I think it's pronounced niche.
Niche. They have become a very specific corner of the market now that we have modelers that can do so much and digital amps that can do so much, and even an excellent solid state amps and stuff like now, but very specific tube amps with very unique qualities. I want to see more of that. No more just like, oh, here's another, you know, Marshall clone or whatever. Here's another deluxe reverb clone. Like, just get weird. Give us a reason to buy your weird amp. Like, it's time. There used to be tons of weird amps, like all like the old Gibson amps and the old Guild amps and like Rickenbacker amps and Supros and stuff like that. And old Premier amps, they all had like these weird features to them.
This definitely feels like a chop up that like Fender is really overdue on doing.
Yeah.
It definitely like gives you, you know, it's almost like they've kind of like mostly played it safe, and then they did the whole like 68 series of amps, and they kind of got like a little bit interesting with those, with the voicings and
like the modern silver faces.
Yeah.
Those were cool.
But this seems like definitely a big jump in the right direction. I did want to look up
in the Skunk Works, like start like experimenting. That's what we need.
Currently a Fender Twin Reverb is 2,100. So this amp is, I would dare to say actually interesting, a 68 custom reverb is 1,900. So it's actually cheaper than a regular.
If I was
twin reverb
professionally gigging, and I use professional as a broad sense, like if I was playing cover band gigs twice a month and making like $1,000 a quarter or whatever, if I went to a store and I got to try one of these and I loved it, I would probably talk myself into this amp.
Here's what I'll say about it is I think that at 3K, you think about the fact that they're, you know, Jack's getting a cut of that, right? He's probably getting,
but it's probably not as much as you think.
He's getting like, say he's getting like, what, 10, 20%?
I don't think it's a percent. I've heard people in the industry talking about how these deals work out, and it's usually a set dollar amount per thing. And I heard it talked about guitars, and it's lower than you'd think. But it's still like you sell a bunch of guitars and you get a nice check. Because this is Third Man, and it is so heavily branded, they just didn't write Jack's name on it or whatever. Like, I have to imagine that the cut is greater, because it is partially connected to, it's deeply connected to their operation.
The number I was like trying to kind of figure out is, my guess is it's somewhere in like, my guess would be it's like in the $300 to $500 range per unit.
I would be.
You think that's high?
I think that's high.
Okay, well,
I think 300 would probably be the top end of it. Jack, get in the comment section. Let us know exactly how much you make per amp.
Because what I was trying to work backwards to is like,
and I'm just guessing, I'm spitballing, but it's an educated guess based on what I've heard about the guitar side of things.
Is what would this amp concept be worth if it was, or like what would Fender sell this for if it wasn't Third Man hardware?
I bet it would probably be.
And so my guess
23
is you think 23? I was thinking more like 25, 26.
You might not be like Twin Reverb is 21 though.
It's 21.
I mean, it comes down to limited numbers, because they can crank out a ton of Twin Reverbs and get their cost down. So it's in that neighborhood. It feels like we're close to that. Like, it could be 25, 26, and then there's 300 of money on there for Third Man.
I really like this idea though. I like the idea of a 15-10 combo. Back in the day, Fender did like the Fender Twin, like the Fender Custom Twin, I think they called it, but it was the one with the single 15 in it. And I kind of always wanted one of those.
What was the amp company that Creation Music bought forever ago? They bought up some boutique brand, and they had a stereo tube amp that was it was essentially two tube amps in the same cabinet with two speakers. and I like that was close to kind of being this concept, but without the stereo trim, you know.
Was it like Rain or something?
It was something like that.
It was some kind of. It was like a popular praise and worship brand, but not popular enough to stay in business.
Well, that was most of the praise and worship brands.
I know.
You start in praise and worship, and you get 100 dotted eighth boys excited about your gear, and then you start trying to branch out into the rest of the market.
I don't remember what that company was called though. But it was like,
you'll remember it later and say it in the comment section.
Stupid. I'll figure it out by the time this video premieres.
Which is a reason to hang out for the premieres, because Steve and I will hang out in the premiere chat and like do director's commentary.
Yeah. If I hear this conversation in the premiere chat, I'll be able to look it up really fast.
Of course you will.
But,
yeah.
I know a lot of people were like,
someone else has already looked it up.
I know.
They're sad about it?
Yeah, because like a lot of people liked that brand, that company.
Do they not do it anymore?
I don't think so. I don't think Creation makes any amps.
I don't know.
Do they?
I don't know. I haven't kept up on them. Sorry, Creation. Send us an amp if you want. But I just really admire this line. This lineup is a lot of fun.
Oh, they do make amps still.
That amp is spectacular looking. It's extremely sexy in my imagination. I haven't actually gotten a chance to play one. Maybe I will someday. But yeah, to recap, I definitely want to see more of that going on. Fender, you want me to dream up something weird? I'll do it. I'll come up with some sort of weird, pro reverb that's got a weird set of speakers and a bunch of controls that no one's ever seen. Like let's come up with a Fender amp that's got a ring modulator in it for some reason. Because ring modulators are tremolos that are super duper fast.
Is that what's going on?
Yeah.
I've never actually understood what a ring modulator is doing.
Could you make an amp reverb, a tube-powered amp, not reverb, but a tube-powered amp tremolo that went fast enough to be a ring modulator?
So Creation actually still makes that amp. It's called the Eclipse, and it's an 8-watt 212 combo.
Right.
Stereo 212.
8-watt.
8-watt each side.
Jeez, that's not enough. The Jack White amp is like 75 watt, I think.
Yeah, this one's 1800 for the Creation.
I wonder how much it weighs. Is 1800?
Yeah,
that's a lot per watt. I think the Jack White amp is a better deal.
But the Jack White's not true stereo. Like, it does true stereo on certain settings.
You can't plug in a stereo delay. Okay. Yeah. All right.
70 watts. So it's pushing into that. What else did Fender make that 70 watts?
And I'd run the wet dry through that amp, and I'd still hit the front end with a Surfy Bear or something. So it would be extra reverb on that. I think on the 10 is what gets the reverb.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think it'd be extra swampy from that 10 and just drip, drip, drip from that 15. Ah, man, that sounds fun.
And the Vibro King was a 60 watt amp. So somewhere in that range.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what was a 70 watt Fender. It doesn't matter. They make a 70 watt basement.
I do feel a little bit of apprehension of like, what if you get this amp and because it's a totally like chimeric concept, just this freak show of stuff that was put together, that it doesn't have longevity, like things start burning out, like the transformers they pick can't handle it or something like that, and it just becomes this lemon that you have to take to repair shops all the time, and they're looking at it like there's not diagrams for this, and it's it's not hand wired, so
I'd have to imagine like they're taking a reverb circuit and they're kind of like adding, it feels like everything they're doing with it is relatively straightforward.
Sure.
Except for that dual amplifier thing, like single input dual amplifier. That's a little wonky.
I don't know. Like, I'm not an amp tech. I couldn't tell you what could go wrong, but I have this consumerist weariness to me. That's like, oh, this is unproven. But that's what's exciting about it. I don't know. I think it's really cool. Fender, send me one. Jack White, send me one. Whoever wants to send me one, send me one. Watch, I get one by some miracle, and I hate it. I just regret it for the rest of my life, and I feel embarrassed. All right. What's next, Steve? Last ad?
Last ad. This ad is from Cold Spring. It's from Chris Fasanala. This is a rare headless Mackie mixer guitar. Michael Compton. I don't know why it says Michael Compton. Maybe that's the guy who made it. Very interesting. Dealer guitar. Actually sounds pretty cool, believe it or not. Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I wonder.
What's this say? You can't be guitar work by Michael Compton, setups, repairs, modifications. You can't be thinking I did this all by myself. The luthier would like to thank these good people for their help with this project. It's just a list of people who helped.
Sure.
With this.
You don't need to read all that.
It's just a label.
Let's start making jokes about this. This is the perfect guitar for when you don't want the sound guy to turn you down. Like, you know what? I got the board on stage. I'll just deal with it. Steve is reading.
I don't know what to say about it because I think I mostly just hate it.
The thing I hate the most is that it looks like the neck is plastic. Like, what's going on with it? This was probably some sort of like weird Casio electric guitar looking at the back of that neck. Like, what happened here?
No, that neck is like part of the mixer. That neck is like the side rail of the mixer or something. Yeah, there's a Mackie label on that.
Why did they screw it to the back of the neck?
I don't know.
Just to complete the look, I guess.
I don't know where that part comes from because it doesn't look like it comes from an edge. So maybe it's just something else. This is where this falls apart for me, and it falls apart very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
I wish it was like a nearly functional mixer.
That would be
and
neat.
I know that it would make this thing weigh so much. It'd be like a 20-pound guitar.
At least they could populate more of the knobs in there.
Right. They left 2 knobs on because you have to have 2 knobs for volume and tone. And they are in like existing holes, which is neat. They left 1 jack on again because it's existing. But basically what it looks like they did is take a Mackie, what is this, a 1202 VLZ, gut it, put wood all up on the insides of it, turn its wood into guts, turn its guts into wood.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's just like a guitar in like a weird shape. And it's like, okay, I see you and I understand what you're trying to do here, but I wish they would have like maybe
even like dummy knobs.
Maybe you only do the wood part in the places where you need the wood support. So like the neck straight down to this like tuner system, that part needs wood. So that part's like tricky, but I wish all of the knobs, like all of the master volume knobs would be in place. All of the bus knobs, I wish all of those were still there. I wish you would look at this and like, if you didn't know where the volume knobs were, you would just be very confused. And maybe you change those knobs like
this would also be a great opportunity to like work out like a 6-band EQ for the pickup, where like you just work out like whatever resistors you need to isolate each tone. Like when they're all wide open, it sounds like a pickup, and then you can start pulling out frequencies. Stuff like that would be cool.
And I realize as I'm talking about this that if this had all of those features, I would be complaining about how all of those knobs are just going to get in the way.
Of course, but you got to lean into the bit. Also, if it had all those features, this wouldn't be $400.
Well, I'm not even saying it would have to be like have a feature like actual functionality.
I know.
Just to have those knobs. And maybe if it has all those knobs in place now, like maybe it's more of an electric dobro. Right? Because you wouldn't be able to like strum it, but you could slide on it.
Yeah. No, people play airline guitars that have the knobs everywhere. Like you would get used to it.
This would be way more knobs.
It would be a lot more knobs, but I don't think you need to populate all of the missing knobs there. No. I think that bottom row absolutely have knobs there. I think, a lot of this stuff could just be repopulated, all the XLR jacks and stuff like that.
My guess is what happened is when you open this thing up, I've never seen one of these on the inside. So if you are a recording engineer who's had to repair some of these, tell me I'm wrong.
It's all one piece.
I'm guessing it. All the pots are
all
PCB mounted. So
it's all one
you
big
couldn't
board.
actually do the thing that I'm describing without depopulating a board, and that sucks.
You'd have to snip off every single pot.
But it would have been worth it.
Totally worth it.
Totally worth it.
So anyways, are we ready to pick Steve? They want $400 for that. Is it too much? Is it too little?
It's too much.
What would you pay? The thing is,
that's $140.
That's an absurd price until you have the perfect reason for this. If it fits the gimmick of your band perfectly, $400 is totally reasonable.
Yeah.
But if you don't have a bit, if you don't have a reason to have it, no, don't buy it. But I don't know. I think it's fun.
What does your if for this to be your bit, are you in a Kraftwerk cover band?
Maybe
for this to be your bit. I mean, what else could you be in?
Like some sort of band where like it's like Jerry Gibbons and the Soundmen, and everyone in the band is themed as a sound man or a roadie or something like that.
Right. That was disappointing.
Sorry, Steve. Okay.
I will say,
okay,
you titled this one All Mixed Up, and the luthier of this guitar did come original. So
there you go. There you go.
So
always got to bring it back to 311.
I was entertained.
311 band members.
Because you came original.
Do you listen to the show? We reference you all the time. Like,
let
us know if you listen to the show.
I have a, I think unironic at this point fondness for 311.
No, I have a truly sincere fondness for 311 as well.
So much more than like probably any other like kind of edgy, for lack of a better word, music from like that
edgy. All right. I don't think of them.
I'm saying like okay, like what would you put, like you'd have like 311.
I can't think of a rap rock band that I would put higher up on my rap rock list.
I'm just thinking of like what was radio popular at the time. I'm thinking like 311. I'm thinking like Sublime.
Right.
I'm thinking like maybe Korn, like that kind of thing. And I'm definitely, I feel like 311 is the comes out on top for me. Ryan, let's pick this Adventurers Club. Let's get on over with this episode.
We have the All Mixed Up. We have the Broke Strat and the YamaHAHA.
Yeah. Ryan, you called it the YamaHAHA.
Yeah.
Never mind. I'm not going to make
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Make the joke. But the YamaHAHA is my vote for Adventurers Club this week.
It is the one that I most want to own, even though I have no reason for it. But that's going to stick in the back of my brain, where like someday I'm going to be at a guitar event. I'm going to see one for a couple $100. I'm like, today's the day.
Today's the day.
Or I'm going to pick it up. I'm going to try it and be like, I'll wait a little while longer. Or, oh, I hate it. Or no, today is absolutely.
All right.
I'm agreeing with you. Yeah.
You're going to agree with me. All right.
Congratulations, Lucas Servey. I'm assuming that's how you say your last name.
I think it is. I think you said it right. Ryan, this song.
Congratulations. You just won a $25 gift certificate printed on heavy digital cardstock that you can, take to the retailer of your choice.
I might still have some affordable pedals.
There might be affordable pedals left. Steve is going to email you to let you know that you won, and he's going to take real good care of you.
Ryan, the song was sent by Mike Gorey. He says, "Hey guys, my name is Mike Gorey. I'm a regular listener of the podcast. You guys help make the workday go by a lot faster. Anyway, I play in a band from Nova Scotia, Canada called Broken Road." We've been getting so much Canadian music lately.
Mm-hmm. It's an invasion.
Canadian
invasion.
I was wondering if you guys might play one of our songs on your show. Well, we're about to do that. I've attached an MP3 of one of our songs called Shoot Me Down. I was playing bass in the band at the time, currently playing lead guitar. That's quite the transition. But I also recorded all the rhythm guitar parts on the song while my buddy Devin played lead. We recorded it using Cubase in our drummer's basement. I used a 2018 American Fender Telecaster with Seymour Duncan hot rail pickups running through a Vox AC-15. No pedals, just dirty channel. The acoustic was a Martin Dreadnought Jr. Devin was playing a PRS Custom 24 through the same amp with an OCD overdrive and a Sky Surfer delay. Thanks for taking the time to read this email. Thanks for taking the time to send us your song.
Of course. And we play songs from every single person who sends us songs. It's like we don't play every single song because some people will send 3 and we pick one. But if you send a song, we will play it. I'm saying that to everyone out in the audience. It doesn't matter if it's a highly produced professional track that is going to demonetize the video because of your copyright, or if it's a bathroom recorded straight to your phone acoustic noodle that's just a sketch of a song. Send us whatever and we'll play it on the show. Like, no questions asked.
So
you could prank us with something weird and inconvenient.
He sent us an ad, but unfortunately it expired, it appears. But the title of it was Trade for a Dozen Lobster. So
that sounds like a lot of fun.
So this song's called Shoot Me Down.
Nights and we would drive for hours, not a car in sight. We would speed off with nowhere else to go. And long walks on the village shore, and I hope I'm meant for something more. There's a side that no one else knows. Is it all in my head? Are my thoughts so misled? Are you thinking of me now? When the lights come falling down, the lights come falling down. When you said you were lonely, thought I'd take a chance. I let you get to know me, I asked you to dance, but your heart wasn't ready for another love. You shoot me down like whiskey, I was never enough. You shoot me down like whiskey, but I was never enough. I don't know where I belong. We hit a crossroad down the line, and we can both tell it was do or die. Wondering where did we go wrong? But it's all in the past, 'cause she moved on too fast. There's no one else to blame. There's no one else to blame. When you said you were lonely, thought I'd take a chance. I let you get to know me, I asked you to dance, but your heart wasn't ready for another love. You shoot me down like whiskey, I was never enough. You shoot me down like whiskey, I was never enough. Won't you shoot me down? Won't you shoot me down? Won't you shoot me down? When you said you were lonely, I let you get to know me, but your heart wasn't ready. Shoot me down like whiskey, shoot me down like whiskey. Won't you shoot me down? Won't you shoot me down?
Shoot me down like whiskey. It's a fun line.
Ryan, I think this is the first time in all, like, how long have we been taking music?
from the beginning.
Pretty much the beginning, right?
Yeah, we started out playing like national anthems or like just playing some of our own recordings, but we immediately started asking for songs like when we were first recording upstairs, you know.
So I think it would definitely be, because we did do the national anthem thing. I would say, though, it's definitely fair to say we've probably played at least 450 original recordings.
Totally.
You know, and probably more like 500 original recordings, really. I think this is the first time we've been sent a modern country track.
Really?
I don't remember ever having one where I thought like, this is a modern country track.
You would be the person to keep track of that.
And well, it's just in my head. It's just like, I don't remember it. And I feel like I would remember, like this is definitely like a very different like style of music than what we get normally sent. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It's not normally a style of music I enjoy.
Great groove to it.
But this one
it had
really
this
grooved,
like persistent groove that was a lot of fun.
And if you decide to shoot down whiskey, just don't drive afterwards. That's my recommendation.
Of course not. That's what Cessnas are for.
You know what you
get up in the sky.
You know what you should do?
What should they do?
They should stay grounded.
That's right. Bye, everybody.